We've got Jason, who's in Traverse City, Michigan. Jason, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to speak with you, Chris, John.
Yeah, how can we help you today, bud?
Well, I am a future everyday millionaire that is trying to get past how to get to that point with a financial decision that I'm looking at.
Okay.
I've been debt-free since 2013. I have no debt. I've got money packed away, and I'm looking at purchasing a property, mini storage units, because I got a late start on my retirement, and I think this would be a fast track to getting a retirement income post-work that will supply me with a steady income in my years of retirement, basically.
Okay. So for what you're looking at, what's the dollar amount?
All right, so here's what I've got. The property currently has one mini storage unit on it plus one large pole barn with storage. The property is generating only about $1,000 a month, so it needs to be expanded. So I'm looking at a $400,000 mortgage, essentially, which will include the purchase and erection of 2 new multi-unit buildings, which in turn will allow me to have a much larger shovel to dig out of this debt. The income that comes from this property is not needed. I run my own business, and I can easily live off my current income, as well as, if necessary, pay for this property on top of that.
Okay, so how much are you making a year right now?
Let's just round it into a medium of $80K.
Okay. And how much money do you have sitting ready to be used as an investment?
Minus my emergency fund,
right,
which is a pretty healthy emergency fund.
Yeah.
Let's say $100K liquid.
Okay. And so in looking at this in the multi-unit, how many units are you talking total?
2 buildings, 2 additional buildings with approximately 32 to 36 units per building.
Okay. 32 to 36. And the average rental price would be how much per unit? Granted, you'll have different sizes, 5 by 5, 5 by 8, 8 by 10, 10 by 12. But on average, what's the storage fee?
I've done an overall calculation, and I know that each one of these buildings on a conservative occupancy with conservative rental rates should generate between $25,000 and $3,000 a month. And that's not max capacity, obviously.
Okay.
What about these buildings is over and above the $1,000 a month you're generating now?
Say it again. Ask the question again. I'm sorry.
Are these new buildings you're going to build bigger, fancier? What makes them different?
The current mini unit that's on there is only a 16-unit building.
Is it full?
Is it old?
Is it full at capacity?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
That one's full to capacity, and there are the large pole building has just open space for random space storage.
Okay.
RV, cars, boats.
Hey, Jason, you said you had a super healthy emergency fund. Of course, that jumped out at me. How much over and above a 6-month emergency fund do you have?
Let's call it another 40,000.
Okay. So 100. So essentially, push come to shove, you got $140K that you could use toward this.
If I needed to, but tell me if my logic is correct here, or if I'm going in the wrong direction. Part of the reason I want to keep as much of my liquid cash available is that way I can use that for better negotiations for concrete work or building erection, rental equipment to do excavation, things of that nature.
I got you.
Along with just making sure I.
Yeah, here's the deal. I can hear it in your head. You're a serial entrepreneur, and you are itching to take on debt. And that's where philosophically we're going to differ. Like, when I look at this and say, hey, first things first, in any business, I'm going to tell you to work on a business plan. I want to know what competition is in the area, how many other storage units are there in your area or the area you're thinking about living. Are they at capacity, or is it an oversaturation where there's too much? Also, you also have to be aware, just like with a rental property, yes, you do have these things that you're putting up and it's new. And on the start end, you're going to do it. But what's the rate of people falling off the wagon and not paying? then you're having to now go in and do auctions and clear outs of this thing. So I don't think it's as passive as you're thinking it is. Is this something that in a year you got 140,000, let's just say straight up, that you could use in capital? Could you get a little bit more intentional? You're self-employed making 80. I think you're pulling my leg there a little bit. You might be making more than this. But looking at this, is this something I would strive to do with cash? Absolutely, I would. Or a very short-term loan, where maybe you're financing 50% of it. And I'm saying if then. To me, I feel like you're going to not only do this, but then you're going to go on and do something else. And the next thing you know, you're going to look up, you're going to have $1 million in debt and wonder how you got there. So I would adopt a cash debt-free kind of mentality with any business that you're going into, to start small. And maybe you start small. Maybe you start with what would 140,000 get me? Can I get that to capacity and get that humming, and then save up money to be able to add the next one? Instead of building the grand poobah, I'm going to build a little poobah.
That's right. And anytime you are trying to do something to quote-unquote play catch-up,
yeah,
I feel like I screwed up in the past. I haven't invested enough, and so now I'm staring down the barrel of retirement. So I found a shortcut. You start doing napkin math that makes that shortcut work for you, so you can forgive yourself for the challenges you did in the past.
Yeah.
Don't make another mistake on top of
Don't
other
compound
mistakes you
the
may have
mistake.
made. There you go.
Yeah, when you try to hit a grand slam, it increases the odds of striking out.
There you go.
So just stay focused on hitting base hits, people. Base hits with cash. It'll get you there. This is The Ramsey Show.